Hey guys, I'm JD and welcome back to the Dimensionswoodworks wood shop. Today we're going to be unboxing my new Delta 36725 table saw from Lowe's. Probably the best table saw for the money on the market today. Let's get started. Now the first thing we want to do is go ahead and inspect the outer packaging of the brand new Delta 36725 table saw. Just check for any major bumps or bruises to make sure that while it was being transported to the store or the location that you purchased it from, it wasn't damaged during shipping. Now take your time and use a box cutter to slowly open your packaging. You don't want to try to take the entirety of the saw out of the packaging at first, as it is a very, very heavy machine. Now once your package is open, go ahead and go through your parts list and your quick assembly guide that comes with the saw and make sure that all your parts and pieces are there. The first pieces that you'll want to take out and put together are these tube style frames for the base. Then you will find your hardware package conveniently labeled with letters that will correlate with the stages of assembly you'll go through. Now insert the tubes from the frame into the top part of the saw, and you will begin to put the bolts in to connect those two pieces. Now install the 4 plates. 2 will be labeled with the Delta logo and 2 will be blank. This helps stabilize the base. Now you will begin to install your casters, your rolling casters. And after the rolling casters are put in, and you want to make sure that you don't tighten down too much on that nut so that they can roll freely. You can see here how I'm adjusting it until I get it to roll just right. Then we will put the stationary feet on the other side. Those feet can be adjusted up or down in order to level the saw out. Now use a piece of scrap wood. I use a piece of 4x4 and place it right by the dust chute so that when you flip it over to stand the saw up, you do not break that dust chute because it's made out of plastic. The instructions also say that 2 people are required to lift the saw, but you can see here I managed to get it done by myself. Then remove the large piece of styrofoam and the plastic from the tabletop of the saw, and we're just going to give it a good wipe to remove all that initial packing oil that it was packed in at the factory. Now we'll begin the process of adding the wings to the sides of the cast iron tabletop. You want to take this part slow, make sure that you put those in exactly the right place. And you can see here I'm using a level to give myself a straight edge so that I have a straight edge reference to make sure that wing is lined up perfectly. Just to save some time here, after I've threaded the bolts in by hand to make sure that they are started well, I use an impact to go ahead and drive it home most of the way, but the final tightening will be done with the Allen wrench head in the top of the bolt. Now after both wings are installed, it's time to go ahead and install the front and rear rails. We're going to take our time on these guys too, because this is crucial in making sure that all of the measurements on the saw are true. Everything is lined up as it should be, so just take it slow, make sure you're using a straight edge, and tighten those things down by hand as you go. So the two sections of the front rail are joined together by a small bracket that you want to make sure you get in there for extra stability. Now the saw comes with this little gauge that helps you align the wings and the rails. There's different measurements for the front and back rails. You didn't see that pictured in the front rail, but I did use it throughout the assembly of these components. Now that the front and back rails are installed, you can install this crossbar support that spans between the front and rear rails on the saw. Now it's time to install the fence guide. The fence guide has a ruler on it and it sets within the front rail. When it's secured to the front rail in the proper place, the measurements will be dead accurate. Now it's time to install the control box with the on and off switch. Install the handles to the blade tilt and the blade raising and lowering wheel, as well as the handle to the fence. They are all the same style handle. Now we're going to raise the blade all the way up so that we can install the throat plate, as well as the safety gear that came with the saw. After the throat plate is installed, use the provided tool to adjust the height of the throat plate to be flush with the top of the table saw. Now to install the anti-kickback device, there is a push button that rides in a slot of the riving knife. Just push it, stick it in place, and it will pop out and hold firmly in that position. Now the blade guard rides in the slot in the rear of the riving knife. It also slides into place and will swing down to cover the blade. Once it's there, flip the switch down and it will lock it into place as well. Now, just as a preventative measure, I go ahead and apply a nice coat of paste wax to the entire tabletop, just in a circular motion as you would waxing a car. And then once I've got it all applied across the entirety of the top, I come back with a clean, dry rag and wipe it off. Now you've got everything assembled, it's time to enjoy your brand new Delta table saw. So now that I've gotten a chance to spend a little time with the machine, I've had this saw for right about 3 months now, I can truly honestly say that I love it. I absolutely love it. It was a dramatic improvement upon the last saw I owned, which was a little job site saw. This thing is super beefy with the cast iron top, and I especially love having this Biesmeyer style fence. When you put it on 3 inches, you know you're cutting 3 inches, which was a luxury that I did not have with my job site saw. Every cut I made, I had to measure and doubly verify that that was a true measurement being cut. Just make sure you keep it wiped down, keep the cast iron clean. Personally here, for me, I live not only in the south, but I live about 300 feet from the Gulf of Mexico, and there's bayous and rivers around me everywhere. Any tool I have that has iron or steel that is the main component, I have to constantly worry about rust. All that I've done to this point, you saw me apply that coat of paste wax in the beginning. I make sure I keep it wiped down. I don't touch it. I don't put fingerprints on it. You don't let the oils from your hands get on it. And also, another thing that you may not think about at the time, you want to try to keep it clean, because even if you're cutting lumber that's come from a home center, that wood is not completely dried. That's why you see a lot of twisted bowed and bent boards when you grab 2x4s or 2x6s out of the stack at your big box store. So there's still a lot of moisture content in that lumber. If you do all those things, this saw will last you for many, many years to come. Also, another thing that I did, and most woodworkers will tell you to go ahead and swap out the blade. I've chosen to go with a Forest Woodworker 2 thin kerf blade for this saw, and the performance out of these two things together is phenomenal. So that's about it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel so you can see what else we have coming up in the future. And until next time, don't forget to get better every day.